Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. Here on my channel, I like to bring you the best tips and tools for creating beautiful home decor on a budget. So if that's something you're interested in, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around. Today I have 4 patriotic DIYs for you. For the first project, I used 3 of these square signs from Dollar Tree, one of the thick wood stars. I only used 1 bag of the red acrylic gems, some blue spray paint, and some white Waverly chalk paint. The first thing I'm going to do is, with my mini screwdriver, remove the sawtooth hangers from the back of each of the 3 signs. Then I'm going to take out this raised centerpiece from the center of each of my signs. Next, taking my utility knife from Dollar Tree, I'm flipping it over to the back and scoring around the center square enough so that I can remove that from the frame. And I'll do this for all 3 of my signs. With one of the backs, I'm going to spray paint it with this blue satin spray paint. The other 2 backs and all 3 of the frames, I'm going to give a coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And actually on the 2 backing squares, I did do 2 coats just to completely cover that brown color. Welcome back if you are returning to my channel. I always love interacting with my viewers and subscribers in the comments. So please be sure to introduce yourself if it's your first time. And also I would love to hear everyone's opinion on which of these 4 projects you enjoyed the most. Here I'm showing that I used some of the spackle from Dollar Tree to fill the hole on the star. And then I'm also going to give this a coat of white Waverly chalk paint on the front and also all the way around the sides. Once all that paint is dry, I'm going to use my Gorilla hot glue and putting a bead of hot glue around the frame. I'm now returning the back, but the opposite side. So now what was the back is going to be the front that's showing through the frame. So 2 of these backs will be white, and then we'll have that 3rd one that we spray painted with the blue spray paint. So I decided to use these red acrylic gems that I found in the floral area where there's usually the sand and the pebbles, and I wanted to use these to make the red stripes for my flag. So here I'm just seeing how many of them fit across, and it's 7 exactly. And since this is square, that means I can have 7 total rows of my little flag stripes here. So you can see I made 4 rows of red gems and then left 3 stripes of the white backing showing through. So here I'm just hot gluing my little gems down to make my red stripes for my flag. So I way overbought on the acrylic gems. I just didn't know how many I was going to need. I showed at the beginning 3 bags. I ended up using less than 1 full bag. I think it was like half of a bag maybe. So there's all my red stripes, and then here, like I said, is that 3rd back that we spray painted with the blue spray paint. I really like this spray paint. It's Rustoleum. It's a satin finish, and I'll put the name of this color in the description box. But here I'm simply taking my thick wooden star and hot gluing that to the center of my blue square. So the idea is you have all three of these. You can go up and down with your flag shapes or stack them like this. I thought the white was just a little too stark. There was just too much white. So I decided to take my Waverly Antique Wax and with a sponge just go gently around the frame of each of my signs and then wipe away some excess with a paper towel just to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. And here's what they looked like with that little bit of antique wax. And you can do them sideways, up and down, or stacked. For our second project, I'm using 3 wide mouth jars, some of this white sand, 3 small flags, some matte finish Mod Podge, and 2 packages of these star tea lights. I did remove the flags from the stick and give them a little bit of an ironing just to make sure they were flat. And then I'm taking some of my Mod Podge and putting it all over the front of my flag and then pressing it down, making sure it is adhered to the back side of the jar. So this is what all 3 jars look like with the flags. The next thing I decided to do was add a little bit of my favorite farmhouse look jute around the mouth of each of my jars. And here's all 3 with the jute around the top and a twine bow. Next, I used 2 bags of this white sand from Dollar Tree, and I just poured it as evenly as I could into all 3 of my jars. Of course, if you didn't want to use sand, you could use some of the pebbles or glass gems, anything like that. Marbles even, just to raise up your tea light candle a little bit from the bottom of the jar. And the last step is simply to add whatever type of candle you want to use for these little candle lanterns or luminarias. And this is what they look like with all 3 of the little tea light candles. I decided to use 2 blue stars and 1 red star in the middle. And these candles are cool. They have like a little flickering effect to them. And here's just one more close-up look of all 3 of our patriotic, flag, Americana luminaries. For project number 3, I'm using a pallet wood sign, red, white, and blue paint, one of these wood stars from Walmart, and some letter stickers and painter's pen. So I bought this already made like that, but you could use a square sign from Dollar Tree, a rectangular sign, whatever you'd like. This is very similar to the kind I've made before on some past videos with 5-gallon paint stir sticks and then just attaching them on the back. So here I'm taking some painter's tape and I am first marking off the space of my flag that I'm going to paint blue. This is a Craftsmart acrylic paint from Michael's that I've had for a while. I will make sure to put the name of the color in the description. I believe it's bright blue. And I'm just going to give this area just one quick coat of this blue paint color. While that's drying, I'll take one of these wood stars from Walmart. They come in a pack of 6 for less than $2. And I'm just going to give this a nice coat of Waverly chalk paint in white. Now that my blue paint is dry, I'm using painter's tape now to cover up the edges of the blue area. And then I'm also going to use my painter's tape to tape off the stripes or sections on my sign that are going to be white. So unfortunately, my tape was just a little bit too narrow to just fill in that stripe with one, but we got it on there. So everything that's the stripes that are covered with the tape right now will be white. And so right now I'm using my crimson Waverly chalk paint to paint in my 4 red stripes for my sign. Now that my red stripes are dry, I am again taping off the blue rectangle with new painter's tape, and then I will take more tape and now cover up the red stripes that I painted so that I can then paint my white stripes. And now that my tape is on, I'm going to paint these last 3 stripes with my white chalk paint. Now that my entire flag is dry, I'm just going to use some of my Gorilla Hot Glue and attach my white star now to the center of my blue rectangle. Now there are numerous different ways that you can add words to your sign. I do not have a Cricut, and so I try to show different ways you can do it without a machine like that. One way is to use some sticker letters. These are not from Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree does have some. And lining them up, just the bottom of them on this ruler, you can help get them straight and evenly spaced. So you can see here I'm writing out the word faith with my sticker letters. I'm not going to keep the stickers on there. I'm actually going to use them as stencil. So you could use another color of sticker and actually Mod Podge them onto your sign. That's another way you could do it. Or like I'm doing here is I'm going to put the stickers on, trace around them with pencil, and then pull them up. And then you'll see how I finish them in just a moment. So here I'm just tracing my letters with my pencil. Here you can see all 3 of my words, faith, family, freedom, on each of the white stripes. Next, I'm taking my Elmer's painter's marker. This is the color blue. It is a medium tip, and now I'm just filling in the letters for my words. Some other things you could write on this besides faith, family, freedom, you could do God bless America, you could do United States of America, lots of options here, or even leave it with no words. And here's the sign with all 3 words colored in with the blue marker. I wanted to add again a little bit more of a rustic look to this, so I'm taking some of my thin jute twine. This is not the Walmart stuff, this is Dollar Tree, and I'm just attaching some with some hot glue on the back, and I'm just going to wrap it 3 times on each of my red stripes, just to add a little bit more texture and dimension to the project. So I will wrap all the way around the sign for my 2 longer red stripes, and then hot glue it again on the back and snip it off. For the top 2 stripes, I had to get a little more creative because of the blue rectangle. So what I'm going to do is just measure here 3 lengths that will start where the blue rectangle ends and then wrap around the back. So here I'm just getting 3 that are about the same length, and just with a tiny little dot of hot glue, because I don't really want it to be that visible, I'm just attaching those 3 strings And then once that's good and dry, I'll wrap them around like I did on the 2 bottom stripes. And here you can see me finishing that top stripe and just attaching it with the hot glue on the back. Here's our finished sign laying down on the table and again propped up. I love how this turned out. And for my 4th project, this is very, very simple. I'm taking 3 of these metal pennant signs that say you're a grand old flag and 1 of these USA hanging signs. I decided I just wanted to put the 2 of these together just to modify it a little bit. So removing the USA from the burlap, I'm just going to glue 1 letter to the back of each of the pennant signs. That way, if I still want to use the You're a Grand Old Flag on the other side, I can do that. And here's what they look like finished. I really hope you guys enjoyed these 4 projects. Thank you so much for coming over to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it and want to see more. And again, if you have not subscribed, I hope you will do that soon. Please leave me a comment of which of these 4 you liked the best. And here is my patriotic playlist for what to watch next.